Hello everybody and welcome to our first highlight show in a brand new Vanarama National League season. Throughout the next 9 months we'll be bringing you all the action and reaction throughout the campaign. But to kick-start the season we pitched our cameras at the Gateshead Stadium as newly promoted Maidstone United welcome York City to the 5th tier of English football after 4 seasons in League 2. Your commentary team are former Celtic and Brighton defender Adam Virgo and Adam Somerton.
Crossing by Driver, what a ball it was too! And that's a great chance for Flisher. Best opportunity of the game so far.
Well, it really is the opportunity of the game there. I think just needs that bit of desire, just to gamble that little bit more to get on the end of it, but you have to give credit to the defending there as well.
Sweeney, one of those on the edge of the area to make their move in. Higgins got his head to it. Flinders, some decent distance on the punch. That's really nicely done to Taylor! Finds that bottom corner! And Maidstone United lead York City. Great finish. Really well created. This club's first game at this level. No wonder they're so happy. One of the heroes of last season's playoff final has struck their opening goal of the season. Camjo got something on it, and Flinders had to come off his line, and it's poked towards goal by Loco, not far wide at all.
The decision-making is so important as a goalkeeper, when to come and when not to come. Just get enough bodies on the line there to clear it.
Loco said it. Helped on by Flisher, what a clever ball that was. It's Greenhow, he's got Murphy arriving in the middle, and Flisher's on the edge of the area. Well, he saw his name in lights, I think, for a moment there, didn't he?
Yeah, he needs that bit of composure when he goes back to him.
Nice return ball to Murphy. And shot hit first time by Greenhow, that was really travelling. Rogers, York can't get it back. In towards Loco, Flinders with the punch clear. And it's off target from Greenhow.
We could see what he was trying to do. Just be clever, put it over the goalkeeper, Scott Flinders.
Maidstone have to try and keep it going. Oh, there's the header! It's the equaliser, and it's been scored by Clovis Camjo. Superbly taken, and Jackie McNamara's side are on terms.
Well, it's certainly a textbook header from Camjo, and it's probably what York have deserved over the last 10 minutes.
Here's Rooney on the charge. Fenwick waiting in the middle. And they're really starting to regain confidence here at York City and looking a threat. Plenty back here for York City. Dumaka with the layoff, that's brilliantly done. And the chance to shoot, saved well by Flinders.
It's a really important hand, good save there from Flinders. But equally brilliant skill there from Paxman. But a good save there from the York keeper.
He's given that away. And it's Greenhow who's got Taylor to his left. He goes right instead to carry Yanis. Last minute of added time. It's Maidstone United on the attack with Paxman. Lost a bit of the momentum there, Maidstone, but they retain possession as the shot's driven in. What an effort that was by Tom Mills. Needed saving too by Flinders.
Scott Flinders always had that cover, but needed to make sure to tip that round the post.
I thought we come out second half and started well for the first 10 minutes, and that's my biggest disappointment. I thought we had a couple of good chances, didn't take them, and at that point you kind of at 1-0 you're always worried that they're going to get that one chance, and to be fair it's sloppy on our part for their equaliser, but I can't be too hard on the lads. They give us everything today, and as I say, I still think we can play better, and there's more to come from us, but we'll take the point and move on.
This is a difficult place to come. A lot of teams will come here and find it tough. As I said, it's quite narrow, the pitch. Obviously the surface is slightly different from what everybody's used to. But you know, they make you defend, and you know, I'm pleased to get a point in the end.
Two newly promoted teams met on day one of the new season. Sutton United, back in the 5th tier after an absence of 16 years, hosted Solihull Moors, playing their first fixture at this level. And in the first ever meeting between these two sides, it was the visitors who drew first blood at Gander Green Lane. Daryl Knights with the pullback, Ryan Bezic finishing expertly for Solihull Moors' first ever National League goal. It's fitting that it was Bezic. The iconic skipper is a 7-year club servant. Sutton boss Paul Doswell has been in charge for even longer. He saw his side equalise on the stroke of half-time. The ball eventually scrambled home by defender Dean Beckwith, 1-1 at the break. Moors manager Marcus Bignott is Birmingham born and bred, and it was one of his summer signings that steered Solihull back into the lead. Former Cheltenham man Amari Sterling-James volleying the visitors 2-1 in front. With 13 minutes to play, Bignott's boys ensured their first ever 3 points in the National League. The Sutton backline appealed unsuccessfully for offside against Andy Brown. The striker kept his composure to make the game safe and to put the seal on a memorable day for Moors.
For the first time in a decade, Victoria Road was the venue for National League football. Dagenham and Redbridge fans will be hoping for an immediate return to the Football League. Their team took on a Southport side, aiming for more than just survival this time around. Dagenham manager John Still released 10 players in the summer, but it was a new addition that broke the deadlock. Striker Fajiri Akanabiri opening his account just 15 minutes into his Daggers debut. The Nigerian began his career at the Arsenal Academy. His tenacity down by the corner flag set up Luke Gutteridge to double the lead on 23 minutes. A dream start for Dagenham and Redbridge. Southport were chasing shadows and they faced the prospect of going into half-time 3-0 down. The run of Kirtley Williams was curtailed by James Caton. Penalty given. Jordan Maguire-Drew, on loan from Brighton, stepped up. Southport stopper Tyrell Belford keeping the deficit to 2 at the interval. But the contest was settled with a third of the game to play. More heroics from Belford in the Southport goal, but Maguire-Drew finally got his name on the score sheet. He and Dagenham weren't to be denied a perfect return to non-league football, leaving their manager to ponder their promotion prospects.
Whatever league you're in and wherever you play, you've got to want to win the league. Simple as that. You know, whether you do or not, it's different. But if your ambition's no higher than not getting relegated or just being in the league, that's not an ambition for me. And an ambition for all clubs has got to be to try and win the league. And we'll do our best to win it. If we're the best team in the league, we'll win it. If we're the second best, we'll come second. The league doesn't lie, and we'll work as hard as we can to try and be the best team.
Tranmere Rovers narrowly missed out on the playoffs last season. They were looking to lay down a marker as they kicked off with a trip to Hayes Lane to take on Bromley. If Gary Brabbin's boys are to mount a promotion push, James Norwood will surely be integral. 19 goals last season. It took Norwood just 9 minutes of the new campaign to open his accounts, and in expert fashion. Rovers have also acquired a new strike partner for Norwood. Andy Cook has scored 47 goals in 2 years for Barrow. His header was saved brilliantly by Alan Julian. Bromley stayed up comfortably in what was their first ever season in the National League, but lost top scorer Moses Emmanuel, who rejoined Dover in the summer. He would surely have taken the chance, spurned by midfielder Blair Turgott. It was a miss that would prove costly. Moments before half-time, Bromley failed to deal with the ball into the box, and Norwood was first to pounce for his second. The visitors picking up where they left off after a club record 12 away games without defeat at the end of last season. The hosts rallied in the second half, summer signing David Martin keeping Tranmere's Scott Davis on his toes. Opportunity knocked for Norwood to complete his hat-trick late in the game, but he couldn't find the target. The match ball didn't go home with them, but Norwood and Tranmere will settle for the 3 points.
After a second-place finish and a playoff final defeat, Forest Green Rovers began their bid to go one better and achieve promotion to the Football League for the first time in their history. They travelled to Boreham Wood, who beat the drop in their first campaign in the 5th tier. It was Mark Cooper's first game in charge of Rovers. Debutant Christian Deutsch missed a golden chance to give his manager the perfect start. The selection of 30-year-old Luke Garrard as Boreham Wood boss breathed new life into their season, and they stunned the visitors after half an hour. Ricky Shakes on hand to slot past Sam Russell and give the home fans something to smile about. Forest Green probed for an immediate response. Boreham Wood's Grant Smith not troubled by Elliot Freer's volley. The hosts kept 16 clean sheets last season, but they continue to be tested in the second half. Summer signing Matt Tubbs came off the bench for his Forest Green debut, but he too was unable to keep the ball down. Rovers were vulnerable to the sucker punch as Boreham Wood looked to kill the game off. Former Braintree captain Kenny Davis was after a debut goal, but his effort cannoned off the crossbar. Forest Green began last season with a record-breaking 9 wins in a row, but they were staring at the prospect of an opening day defeat. Doidge beat Smith to the cross, his header dropped agonisingly wide. A shock victory for Garrard's new look, Boreham Wood.
Very happy. 7 debuts, I believe. I didn't feel that they looked out of sorts, and I felt that as a team, to have 7 making a debut, I felt they gelled very well. I felt that they've come into a club and they've taken on board what I'm expecting, what the club's expecting, and as a group of players I think that, like I said previously, they've gelled very well, and I felt that today was the fruits of their labour.
Danny Cowley took charge of his first game as Lincoln City manager as they travelled to Woking. The former Braintree boss helped write one of the division's major success stories last season. Lincoln managed a mid-table finish last time, but they gave their fans cause for optimism here. The powerful Matt Reed with the knockdown, and one of Cowley's pre-season purchases made the breakthrough. Adam Marriott signed from Stevenage, scoring his first goal in over a year and a half. Woking did the double over Lincoln last season and they levelled seconds after the restart. Ishmael Yakubu, making his first appearance in a year, marked his comeback with the equaliser. But it was the away side that grew stronger. Lincoln restored their lead on the hour mark. Jack Muldoon with the cross, Reed with a deft finish. That's to be expected after 20 goals last season. Nathan Arnold almost marked his Lincoln debut with something special. Woking keeper Michael Polk saved superbly, but the reprieve was short-lived. Johnny Margit bundled over by Ben Gordon. Penalty given. Reed was the away side's leading marksman last season. It looks like he might take some catching this year as well. Lincoln's number 9 put pen to paper on a new 1-year contract in midweek, and he had the chance to celebrate in style when Bradley Wood was brought down inside the area. Referee Joseph Johnson awarding the visitors a second spot kick. An opportunity for Reed to register his hat-trick, but Pope proved too good on this occasion. A disappointing end to an otherwise perfect start for Lincoln and Danny Cowley.
Gateshead opened their National League campaign with a home fixture against Chester, a side that had beaten them 4-2 on the final day of last season. The Heed, though, were hoping to continue a good run, which had seen them lose only one of their last 6 opening games in non-league's top tier. And after a scoreless first half, it was the home side who came flying out of the blocks. Wes York opening the scoring for Neil Aspin's side as the former Wrexham man expertly turned in a James Bolton's cross on the hour mark. Both clubs paraded new-look sides after underachieving last season, but it was the hosts who were gelling quicker here, and it was that man York again who wrapped up the points, doubling the lead on 82 minutes with a smart finish after being slipped in by Ryan Bowman, cementing a debut to remember. And with only minutes remaining, centre-back Manny Smith rounded off the victory, nodding in from close range to make it 3. A resounding victory for Aspin's side, but as for Chester, much improvement is needed if John McCarthy's men are to improve on last season's 17th place finish.
After surviving the drop last season by a single point on a dramatic final day, Mark Bauer's Guiseley were looking for a big improvement in their second National League campaign. Their hosts, though, had grand plans of their own. Eastleigh narrowly missed out on the playoffs last time. And after 10 minutes, it was Chris Todd's Spitfires that were flying. Andy Drury appearing from nowhere to open the hosts' account with his first league goal since January. The Eastleigh pressure didn't let up in the first half. This Joe Partington header gave the home side a 2-goal lead going into the break. Mark Bauer's half-time team talk galvanised Guiseley and they came out rejuvenated in the second half. Michael Rankin's sign from relegated Altrincham in the summer reduced the deficit with a towering header. But Eastleigh held off the visitors to seal all 3 points and make it an arduous journey back up north for Mark Bauer and his men.
Yeah, we're disappointed to come away with nothing, because I felt the performance, the way we took the game to Eastleigh, especially the second half, we deserved something from it, but we gave 2 really poor goals away, and if you do that against one of the best teams in the league, it's going to be really difficult.
Really and truly, we were the better side, and then second half they had a right goal, they had nothing to lose because they were 2-0 down and they chucked their bodies at it. It was a hot day out there for the lads. They've worked extremely hard over pre-season, and you've got to give them credit because they had a right goal second half.
These sides met on the opening day of last season, in which Torquay United took all 3 points at home. Alex Fisher was the hero that day, but John Askey's side looked to make home advantage count for them this time. And they did just that when summer signing Oliver Norburn opened his account for the season in spectacular fashion. The former Guiseley midfielder breaking the deadlock with 24 minutes gone. In the second half, Macclesfield continued to be the superior side. This time, Chris Holroyd taking his chance to double the host advantage and at the same time already matching his goal tally from last season. A great way to start his campaign. A win on the opening day and many positives for John Askey to take away from his team's performance.
Obviously it went really well for us to score 2 goals and not concede, so really pleasing start. What I was most pleased about was the way that we played, and the 2 goals that we scored, I don't think you'll see much better goals than that.
Disappointing from our point of view. I thought Macclesfield were excellent. I just think that we let them be. We were on the back foot, they were on the front, and unfortunately for us, that was pretty much for the whole 90 minutes. We had 10 minutes at the start of the second half where it looked like we might have a go at them, but overall they were head and shoulders better than us today.
Gary Waddock is back for a second spell in charge of Aldershot Town, the side he led to the Football League in 2008. The shots travelled to Holker Street on the opening day to face Paul Cox's Barrow, who were unbeaten at home in the league since early February. That run looked likely to continue as Barrow took the lead after only 6 minutes. Liam Hughes on target with this audacious half volley. A goal-scoring debut after joining from Inverness in the summer. Aldershot came agonisingly close to an equaliser after this excellent through ball from Shemir Fenelon, but Matt McClure couldn't add the finishing touch. Barrow captain Danny Livesey missed training due to injury this week, but Paul Cox made the decision to include the skipper in his starting 11, and what a choice that turned out to be. 15 minutes from time, Livesey made this heroic clearance to deny the visitors an equaliser. Barrow securing all 3 points, not the best start for Gary Waddock and his men.
Yeah, I felt we deserved something from it. You know, in fairness to Barrow, they're a good side. They put us under pressure, but I think overall we deserve to take something from the fixture.
Don't think we was as good as I think we can be. The main thing is we won a game and we're off and running. So long term now we need to improve on that for us to be consistently competitive.
Over 5,500 people packed out the racecourse to see Wrexham take on last year's playoff semi-finalists Dover. Gary Mills signed 18 players in the summer, while only 3 players remain from last season's side that finished 8th in the league. But it was Dover who were fastest out of the gate, Ricky Modeste having this shot blocked by keeper Chris Dunn before a goalmouth scramble ended in relief for the hosts. Dover achieved their highest ever finish in the National League last season, ending in 5th place. New signing Moses Emmanuel, who scored 20 goals for Bromley in the last campaign, made light work of John Rooney before setting up John Stevenson, only to be foiled by the crossbar. Hesitation from Rooney nearly cost Wrexham as the clock ticked. Play was allowed to continue after his challenge on Chris Kinnear, but a strong wrist from keeper Chris Dunn ensured honours were even on the opening day.
"10 miles from Hull, and with a population of just under 4,000 people, North Ferriby played host to its first National League game against Braintree Town. United were promoted last season, but their manager, Steve Howsham, has only had a month in charge after Billy Heath left to join relegated Halifax Town. But it was the National League newcomers who threatened first. Curtis Bateson coming excruciatingly close to scoring the first goal of North Ferriby's season. Braintree also fell victim to the woodwork. Jake Goodman unlucky not to find the net. These two sides have only met twice before in two legs of a fourth-round FA Trophy tie back in 2002. 12 goals were scored in those two fixtures. Here, though, the woodwork made sure both teams remained goalless, a stalemate in North's first National League outing.
So, early doors yet, but Dagenham and Redbridge lead the way after only one game. A good start for newcomers Solihull Moors sees them high up the table, but things can change very quickly in England's fifth tier. At the bottom end, a disappointing start for promotion favourites Forest Green. Last season's playoff finalists have invested heavily in the summer and will hope to kickstart their campaign, as will most of the clubs near the bottom, as a full complement of fixtures take place on Tuesday.
We're almost out of time, but a date for your diary. The 27th of August is when we'll be bringing you more live action from the Vanarama National League as Dagenham and Redbridge welcome Wrexham to Victoria Road. That's 11:45 on BT Sport 1. That's all we've got time for. We'll see you again soon.
Jacko sponsors the Vanarama National League on BT Sport.